Why London became a money laundering capital. There have been 81 law firms, 86 UK banks, and unexpectedly 177 UK educational institutions revealed as having accepted or transferred dirty money throughout the world. However, the United Kingdom's denial that it launders money is similar to Russia's denial that it poisons spies. Nobody believes a word. London has utilized itself as the global hub of selection for Russian dirty money during the last 3 decades. Russian billionaires are suspected of stealing money from Russian state assets, frequently with Mr. Putin's help or consent. They subsequently shifted their wealth to the United Kingdom for storage and investment, which the country wholeheartedly welcomes. Until now, London remains a sanctuary for the world's dirty money. How and why does all of this happen? Let's talk about that. But before we start, make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe and notification button if you haven't already done so, as it means that YouTube sends you more of these kinds of videos, and it helps our channel. Let's get started. Over the last 2 decades, the UK has welcomed Russian money in all forms, including legal companies, real estate brokers, and the government. There are statements on the record from Prime Minister Boris Johnson when he was mayor of London, stating that he intended to make London a magnet for Russian money. The stock exchange welcomed many Russian companies and encouraged them to establish their European headquarters in the United Kingdom and London. One of the reasons Britain has gotten into this problem is that the ruling elites in the country feel that you should stay out of the way of corporations at all costs. So if you're a top public worker, you must show to ministers that you will not disrupt business. The Labour government instituted golden visas in order to lure wealth and money to London. You could purchase citizenship if you had enough money. In principle, there were safeguards in place. In practice, however, they did not work. However, it was abused by oligarchs and kleptocrats who wished to move their dirty money into London and utilize the plan to gain legitimacy and credibility in what was perceived as a trusted jurisdiction. It's rather remarkable that citizenship is even for sale. Fortunately, the administration has finally abolished the scheme. It peaked around 2012 when roughly 1,200 golden visas were given. 60% of the total were for Russians or Chinese. Let's say you wanted to bring dirty money into the city of London and integrate it into the system. There are 4 critical steps to consider: placement, layering, integration, and defense. So let's assume you want to transfer money from a Latvian bank account to a Cayman bank account, and then into a UK shell business. With a mascot, it is possible to spend enormous sums of money in the UK economy. You must tell the company's house registry of the real owners or beneficial owners of the companies. It is quite easy to bypass such regulations, and basically, no one pursues corporations that simply lie. It's effectively a wild west of information that is unconfirmed and, in some cases, absurd. You may use any name and conceal your identity. There are Adolf Hitlers, Donald Ducks, and Mickey Mouses among them. It only costs £12 to register a company with Companies House, and you can do it in minutes. And most importantly, no one double checks the information. In most cases, applications are granted within 24 hours. They do not have the statutory authority to verify the information, examine erroneous information, or remove it from the registry. There are now certain addresses in the United Kingdom that have thousands of companies registered to them, and if you go and knock on the door, you will not find anybody there. They have literally been set up as a shell to conceal who controls and benefits from the money flowing through that company. This is a critical area where the administration intends to tighten up. However, this is one of those reforms that have been discussed for years, but nothing has been done. Hey! Here's a quick reminder before we continue. Make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe and notification button if you haven't already done so, as it means that YouTube sends you more of these kinds of videos and it helps our channel. Okay, let's get back to the video. The next stage is to shift this money around in a series of complicated financial transactions that will separate you from the money and your source of wealth. That's where banks in the United Kingdom come in. 86 banks have been implicated in acquiring and transporting illicit wealth throughout the world. By the time the money arrives in London, it has most likely already passed through a couple of British overseas territories, such as the British Virgin Islands. The next step is to incorporate your wealth into the UK system. You wish to acquire assets including UK real estate. Lawyers and real estate professionals are available to assist you. Once you've gotten the money into London, you may treat it as if it were clean. People aren't bringing this money in to fund drug gangs. Approximately 84,000 residences in the UK are held anonymously, and 6.7 billion in UK property has been purchased with suspicious money. 1.5 billion of that, or around 150 land titles, has been bought by Russians who are either suspected of corruption or have close ties to the Kremlin. Finally, you want to protect your wealth and reputation, and the City of London is the ideal location for you to do so. When investigative journalists, including those at the Financial Times, ask questions about oligarchs, the lawyers try to shut them up. They strike out at the media and broadcasters. Newspapers are significantly outgunned. There are often unreasonable lawsuits made only to rack up fees, delay things, cause issues, and make editors think, "My God, is this really necessary?" So even when people strive to expose the wrongdoing, the kleptocrats use their resources to silence people. Britain, as a very open financial hub, would always be vulnerable to dirty money coming into the country. So it's essential in that environment to have very clear, well-enforced regulations. And it is something that the United Kingdom just does not have. For years, there have been serious concerns raised regarding the UK's record on enforcement. Often, UK law enforcement officials are simply outgunned by large legal companies representing corrupt and criminal individuals. This tainted money is corrupting democratic institutions, bribing politicians to suit the interests of an international oligarchy, and it is harming the freedom of the press. These are the only characteristics that distinguish the UK from authoritarian regimes. The country's system starts decaying as a result of the dirty money. Thank you for being all ears throughout the entire video. If you'd like to learn more about the nature of this business, subscribe now and click on the notification bell to be updated with my latest uploads. To create is effort. To copy is genius. Albert Einstein. If you want to expand your income by engaging with some side hustles, feel free to contact me so we'll get things moving right away. Remember, if you want to change your life, let's make a change together. You need to make a change.